Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We have a familiar face that's joining us today. I think you probably will recognize her. She's an author, motivational speaker. Mary Ellen Ciganovich is back with us today. You know her not only because of her books, which we're going to get into. One of them you see right there, Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing. But also she is the host of Miracles with Mary Ellen, the co-host of Words I Choose to Live By, and we've been doing a weekly series for the past couple of years on Instagram now with her book, Truth. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and what she has coming up. If you all have not followed Mary Ellen already, definitely invite you all to do that. Mary Ellen's going to go ahead and do a quick check on the Facebook side to make sure that we're all set there. Also to make sure that we have the settings so that they can be able to find you there easily as well. Also to make sure it's always funny hearing yourself back, isn't it? So we're gonna go ahead and make sure we have Mary Ellen tag there. Like, wait a minute, that's me. Make sure that we have Mary Ellen tagged so you guys can follow her there, and make sure that it is public so you guys can be able to share. And now we're gonna go ahead and bring in our Amazon Live family and get started. And you all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again with another author spotlight. But this is someone you probably, if you're following us on Amazon Live, you already know who she is already. Mary Ellen Ciganovich is not only an author, motivational speaker, but she's also the co-host of Words I Choose to Live By right here on Amazon. We're excited to have her back to kind of talk about her journey. She has a new book that's coming up really soon. We'll talk about that a little bit. But also her books are now on sale on Amazon Live. And that's why we wanted to come on with you guys today. Her book, Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing. You guys see it there. It is on sale as well as her book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. There, we both are holding that one up. We're going to remind you of that throughout today's conversation. But Mary Ellen, great to have you back on with us.
It is always such a blessing to be talking with you, Cyrus. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is definitely all mine. Want to say hello to Earl. Earl says hello to you as well. Earl is he's back from his hiatus on social media, so he's joining us on Facebook. Earl, glad to see you. Glad you remember how to type. Appreciate you being with us. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that later, so I apologize. Mary Ellen, I love talking with you because we are friends outside of everything else that you do, which makes these conversations always more fun. I want to talk about reflection for you, though, because you do a lot. And I think the thing is, so many times, I know it's been my experience, we are involved in so many different things. A lot of times it's hard for us to step back and to really assess it. But you're the author of 2 published books, a 3rd book getting ready to come out. You host your own show, Miracles on Mary Ellen. You host a show on Instagram. You host, of course, Words I Choose to Live By with myself, Darius, and Melissa. What has this experience been like for you to have built on your brand as an author?
Well, Cyrus, it keeps me going. All of us need a purpose to keep going, to get up in the morning. And especially, with my MS, there are so many mornings when I wake up fatigued and I think, no, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it anyway. No, you have to have, and I do it anyway, not only to keep my MS monster in his cave, I do it to inspire someone, to reach someone, just to inspire one person, to inspire so they can inspire someone else. Because it's so important for all of us to be kind to each other, to encourage, to uplift each other. And, so many people have uplifted me on my journey. Once I began, of course, you and Earl are 2 of them, and so many other people that I want to be able to give back. And it's just my way of giving back.
Yeah. And you've been able to give back, but you've also been able to use your platform in a very responsible way, Mary Ellen. And I want to talk about that in relation to this conversation. The great thing about us being back on Amazon Live and the other platforms is that, you and I, we've talked about the books, and we're going to get into that. But I want to talk about the message behind the books, because I think that's really what makes people be drawn to you. And of course, both books are on sale right now, so we definitely want our audience to get them for themselves and others. But I talked earlier in another interview, Mary Ellen, about trusting your voice. Have you always
Mhm.
trusted your voice, that you have been given a voice that was meant to be heard?
Well, I didn't want to for a long time. Seriously, when and I tell all people I didn't write either one of these books. I heard them, and these things just kept coming to me and kept coming to me. And then God, I heard God say, "Well, why do you think you went through everything you went through in your life?" And I'm like, you could have told me when I was going through it, but of course He doesn't, because you're supposed to learn from it, and it's so important for us to learn and to follow that voice within us, to follow. And you can't hear, you hear in the quiet. In order to listen, you have to be quiet.
Yeah.
And when you're quiet and alone with God, you will hear what He wants you to do. You will hear in your knowings. You will get out of that beliefs, that ego mindset, and get into your true passion, your true purpose here on our planet. And it's so important for all of us to follow whatever, all of us are here for a purpose, to aid in the
Yeah.
healing of our planet. And it's so important to do that.
I totally agree with that. And I love the fact that you talked about the challenges, because, again, there's so much for us to learn. Melissa says, "Hey, Mary Ellen. Glad to have you with us, Melissa." But I think that is the big thing. I think a lot of times when people are faced with challenges, they shut down instead
Mhm.
of moving forward. And I want to reference something you said. You mentioned the MS monster. I think that goes to a lot of things about our perception. And you talk about a lot about perception. How much of what you have learned, Mary Ellen, about perception has helped you in what you share with us?
Well, I learned that, one of the best things I was ever told by anybody was, Mary Ellen, the problem is you see a problem. And I was totally livid when I first heard that. And I was like, I'm paying you money to get this information. And then I went home and I was just woke up out of a dead sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. The problem is that I see it as a problem. I wasn't seeing it as something to learn from. I wasn't seeing it as something that I could change my perception about and embrace with love and learn from it and go forward. And when I did that, totally, when I did that, my life just clicked over. And I was like, okay, it's not a problem. It's a perception. And every time, and I work with so many clients, and I'll say, okay, when you see it, when it really hooks you, if you're seeing it, if you're hearing it and you're feeling it, then the issue is in you and you have to learn from it. And when you see it and you learn from it and you ask God, okay, what do I need to learn from having this MS monster in me? What do I need to learn? What do I need to go forward and do to correct this situation? Then I truly believe any of us can cure, can dream, can do whatever we want to do with our lives.
It's such a great reminder for us, Mary Ellen, of what is possible, for sure. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on the Amazon Live platform, as well as on Facebook. We also are joined by YouTube. We have LinkedIn with us, and Twitter. We're talking to author and motivational speaker Mary Ellen Ciganovich today about her own journey, what led her to write the books you all see there, that being Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing, and Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. I want to begin with a truth, Mary Ellen. And what I've said about your books before is that these books are not written in the traditional way. The audience does not have to pick them up, begin at page one, and read them straight through. They can literally open one up and being able to read it and get something from it. I'm going to do that right now, and we're going to talk about it. Just going to pick one. Gonna pick one. Gonna pick one. Gonna pick one. Okay, I picked one. All right. This is Truth 148. Don't be afraid of your emotions. Oh, this is a good one. When you love someone, let them know. It is often easy to take your feelings for granted, especially around people you care about the most. You assume they know how you feel. Remember, 99% of all assumptions, that go to what we were talking about earlier about perceptions, are false. Even when you know a kind, loving relationship is in place, it is still nice to hear our partners say, I love you. All of us have an abundance of love to give. It is not something you will ever run out of giving. When you are in a loving relationship, you have no expectations or motives or judgments of getting something in return. Today, remember that love from the heart is always unconditional, without strings. And remember, if you love someone, let them know. So I want to talk about that, Mary Ellen, because I just literally opened that up, and it
Mhm.
ties into the conversation that we're having having right now. How did the writing of truth come about?
Well, it's like in order to, I started posting the truth of the day on the internet. Okay. And then my followers said, well, you should put these in a book. Well, I didn't want to put the ones that I had on the internet on a book. So I literally sat down. It took me 7 months to write Truth, Taking Responsibility, and Unleashes True Healing. Of course, just doing a few at a time and just listening to God to see, what he wanted me to put in there. And what I tell everyone to do with either one of my books is just to open it up and, like you did, flip to a page and read that and page and keep that with you all day as you go through your day. Use what it says on that page and then come back and read it at night to see what you learned about yourself. Did you embrace that page? Did you go up to someone that you were in a loving relationship before they left for an errand and say, hey, I just want you to know I love you? Because you don't know they're going to be coming back. You don't know you're still going to be there. We don't know what's going to happen. So you have to enjoy every single moment of every single day, and you have to be grateful for it and appreciative for it and go forward and make sure you tell the loved ones around you that you do love them.
Wow. Such a powerful reminder, I think, for us all, Mary Ellen. And what I love about this, too, and you and I have had now almost 2 years on, we've been every week sharing messages from the book. We started off doing it on Facebook. Now, of course, we do it on Instagram. We made an announcement for those who missed it this past week that this chapter of our journey together is coming to an end this month. But I want to ask you about that. We've been sharing these messages live with an audience every week for, like I said, 2 years. What has that experience been like? Because, Mary Ellen, the interesting thing about your journey that people don't know, which is why I always have invited you to be a part of things, is that I've never seen you as just an author. I've never seen you as just a speaker. I've seen you as someone with a platform. So I want to ask you about your platform. What has it been like for you to see you start off as an author, then go to being a speaker, then becoming a media personality, and being able to now have your own platform?
Well, it's been such a blessing and so humbling to be able to grow and grow and grow and grow, and to know you and to know your entire group and organization that you have with you. I mean, I'm just so grateful for all of that. And, I know you've heard me say this before. I always take it like what my daddy said. He'd say, great, Mary Ellen, that and $1 will get you a cup of coffee. So I think, all right, I don't think, oh, I'm going to do my miracles of Mary Ellen today and everybody's going to watch. If nobody's there, I still do it because I think, well, maybe they'll watch it later, or maybe they'll catch it on YouTube, or maybe they'll do something else, or, maybe somebody will read a truth of the day today and it's just what they need. Or, I always told my middle school students to do something to make the world a little bit better than when they arrived. And that's what I want. I want, these words are going to live on much longer than I will. And that's what I want. That is my gift to our world, to our society, to help people to quit blaming other people and say, well, you made me do that. No, they didn't make you do that. You chose to do that. That is a choice you made. Why are you making the same choice over and over again and expecting your life to be different? It doesn't work that way.
Such a powerful thing, and you have not been afraid to be transparent. I've tried to do that in my platform as well, because I think it's important for people to know that not every day is great. Most days are, but not not every day is great. But we all have challenges. I have been very public about the fact that I've had a very good year. My only concern this year has been my mother's had some health challenges this year. So that has not kept me feeling the best. But for myself personally, it's been a very good year. How much has perception and perspective helped you, Mary Ellen? I love what you said about what your dad said about keeping your success in perspective. But how has life and what happens in life also helped you do that?
Well, you have to look at what you went through and learn from it. Like when I looked at what I went through as a child, the dysfunctionality from my mother for her telling me that, she tried to abort me, when I was 8 years old. I was told that, and I'll never forget the evilness in her eyes. And I remember my daddy coming to me with love and saying, well, now that I have you, I wouldn't give you up for anything in the world. And you go through that. And then I didn't hate my mother for that. I never hated my mother. I learned from her, and she was a good person in the fact that she was a good teacher. She didn't necessarily want to be a mother any longer by the time I came around, because she had 7 brothers and sisters, and I have a sister that's 7 years older. So she was quite tired of being a mother. Of course, you don't know that when you're a kid. So you learn from that. Look, if you're going through a situation, look at it. Like even when I was diagnosed with MS, I looked at it and I thought, well, okay, I've already been through the epilepsy since I was 6. And I guess I can handle this too. And it's been a bit harder to handle than other things. And you just embrace it and you go forward. And when your legs start to give out, you keep moving them anyway. And you just keep doing and doing and doing and focusing on. That's why my platforms are so powerful for me, because it gives me healing energy that I can then give to society.
Love that. So, your second book for a lot of people was actually your first book, Mary Ellen, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. A lot of people got to know truth first, but Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire is how you and I initially connected. Talk to us about the difference in those two books.
Well, the Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire are just simple vignettes, almost like a poem that I heard from God about fear and faith and awareness and family and purpose and just all these different things. The second edition, which is out right now that you have, Cyrus, has a bit more than the first edition every day. I think we added about 20 more pages to that one. And in Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing, it's not a poem. It's more of a half-page pair. I wrote a truth. And a truth it's not a fact. It's a truth. It's a truth that can be applied to everybody, no matter what they are. We use that word truth so irreverently in our lives. I mean, the truths I'm speaking of are like God is. I am a child of God. That is the truth. What you focus on expands. What you think about happens. All of those are truths. Whereas in Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire, I was just trying to wake people up to their awareness so that they would read it and say, oh my gosh, this is the way I should see things. Okay. And they could read it again and read it again.
I'm going to do like I did with truth and just open it up. Just going to open it up. Just going to flip through, see what comes up. Okay. Oh, frustration. This is on page 86. For those who have the print edition of the book like I do. There is nothing to be frustrated with that I don't project into my own little world. These things are as I see them, not as they really are. That is the frustration. All right, so talk to us about that, Mary Ellen. Again, it seems to tie into what we were talking about earlier with truth, and that is perception. But talk to us
Mhm.
about that, because one thing that you have said, and in fact, you said it recently in our weekly episode of Truth of the Day, that I think some people may say, and that is that you're never upset for the reason you think you're upset with. So
Yeah.
talk to us about that with frustration, what you're trying to tell us with frustration.
Well, a lot of people always think that they're frustrated with somebody else. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. I thought they'd do this. And all of those are assumptions. And like what I said, 99% of all assumptions are false. So what you're truly frustrated with is yourself. Why didn't you do it yourself? Why did you ask somebody that you knew wasn't going to follow through? You always know in your knowings what will happen. The trick is, why are you being so lazy or making the choice to trust somebody else that you know won't give you the benefit that you want? So that's where you get frustrated, and you're actually only frustrated with yourself. When you're angry, you're always only angry with yourself. You just think you're angry with someone else.
Love that. Love that. So, Mary Ellen, I teased that you have a new book that is coming soon to Amazon. What can you tell us about what's coming?
Well, I guess you could say it's similar to Truth, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing, although I did change the title. And I'm going to have about 120 truths in there, different truths, not any that are in these books or anything like that. And I'm also going to have some, I might have some scriptures in there. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of toying with that idea right now because these are truths, and truths do come from scriptures. Please don't hear me incorrectly, because scripture is truth. It's just that when we read the Bible, we get so confused as to how to interpret those words. So I'm trying to put those words into truths that we can use in our everyday society today.
Gotcha. And so it gives us something to look forward to for sure. We're going to remind our audience again, everyone, Mary Ellen Ciganovich is our guest today. We're talking with her about her journey, what it's been like for her to do what she loves as an author. She has two books that are out right now, and those being Truth. She was just referencing that. Taking Responsibility and Unleashes True Healing. You guys also see it there in front. And then her book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. You all see there. Both of them are on sale right now on Amazon. So you can see there, the Healing Words is featured now in the carousel. There is Truth. You can get the Truth book now for only $13.99. As you can see, it's a pretty big book, but you're able to get it on sale right now. And the Kindle edition is on sale, as well as the book Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. So Healing Words is $9.99 right now also, to let you guys know that as far as the print edition goes. So I want to talk about moving forward, Mary Ellen. People this time of year are thinking about new beginnings. What do you, outside of a new book, is there anything else new that you would like to try?
I'd like to get my truths out there more on more radio stations, on more platforms, on more TV shows, on wherever that I could connect with people, because I know these truths are what people need to hear to wake up, to say, oh, why am I blaming them when it's really me? Why am I pointing my finger at them when I have three fingers pointing back? And that's exactly what I need to learn. And it's all about learning and going forward. And I can give the title of the new book if you want me to, Cyrus.
We'll hold on to it.
Okay. I didn't want anybody to steal it.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, we'll hold on to it. But I love that, Mary Ellen, and I agree with you. I think your truth messages will continue to spread, and that is great for us to be able to look forward to. And I think it also is a reminder that even though you've done something, it doesn't mean you can't keep doing something. We talked about recently on Words I Choose to Live By on Amazon Live that your past successes are great. But what are you doing today? That's going to be the the big question. What are you choosing to do with the day that we have? So what advice do you have for our audience, Mary Ellen, as they look at you and all you've been able to do? What advice would you give them about the importance of just starting where they are?
Well, honestly, you have truthfully look at your life. And by truthfully, I mean when when someone tells you something and it's a truth, you're going to defend against it. You're going to say, "Oh no, I'm not like that. No, I'm not like that." So really truly honestly look at your life. Okay. If your life is exactly the way you want it and you don't want to go any farther, all right, that's fine. If you've already aided in the healing of our planet. And if there is something you want to do, if there's something in your knowings that keeps tugging at you, like God kept telling me, he kept talking to me, and I was like, okay, I'll write them down. Please leave me alone. But when God wants you to do something, he doesn't leave you alone. So I couldn't do that. Anyway, look at your life honestly. And there are so many people who are not honest with their lives. They go, well, I've been married. I've been married now for 40 years. So all I got to do is hang in there 10 more for the 50th. Well, if you're not happy, don't waste your life, And if you are happy, then work together to make it better. Or, do something. And one of the things that Pete and I like to do at the beginning of, Pete's my husband, at the beginning of every year, we look for a inspirational book similar to Truth. And we'll take a book and then we'll take a page from it or 2 pages a day, and we'll sit down and read it together and we'll talk about it. And that is our time together. So Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing is a great way for a couple to begin the new year, and read a page and talk about it, and read another page and talk about it together, and do this togetherness time. And I've had people give these books for bridesmaids gifts. I've had them give them for welcome baskets, for church welcome baskets, for all kinds of things. They make great gifts. And, just look at your life honestly. And if something makes you feel uncomfortable, look at it again, because that's a truth.
Love that. Deborah Hunter says, great interview, Mary Ellen. Appreciate you watching, Deborah, from the Magnolia State. Again, everyone, Mary Ellen Ciganovich has been our guest. She's an author, motivational speaker. The 2 books that are out now are Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. You all see them there. And Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing. You guys see it right there. Both here on Amazon. And both, as I mentioned, are on sale right now at the time we're doing this broadcast. Mary Ellen, always great catching up with you. How can they stay connected with you?
Well, I have a website at www, of course, askmaryellen.com, with links to my blogs, my Miracles of Mary Ellen show, and through listening to Conversations Live Radio News Network, you will hear my Truths of the Day, or connect all over social media, and definitely listen to Words I Choose to Live By on Monday with Melissa Banks and Darius Ewing, Cyrus Webb, and myself.
Right. Mary Ellen, always a pleasure catching up with you. Another great conversation. Looking forward to our next chat together.
I am also. Thank you so much, Cyrus, and thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.
You too. And we thank you all for tuning into this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk soon. Take care.